What's up out there? Welcome back to some more Internal Suffering. We're on episode 17. Now, as promised in the last video, I was going to get into Impending Darkness this weekend, and I have had time to work on it today. Not so much yesterday or the day before, but I did have time this morning. And then again this afternoon, I spent some more time with it. So I've learned a few things on it, and let's dive in. First and foremost, I don't remember where I was at exactly in the last videos, but I do have the title edge. I've got the ocean song. Those are done. I did grind out the poison virulence gloves, and let's see, what else did I get? The burning madness gloves, and I have the burning madness ring. Yes. And I also have the poison virulence ring also. So should they be needed, I have these things to fall back on. Basically that is grinding out the Lagaran worms and the cursed liches. Those were really easy. I could set my melee up on the cursed liches, and I don't remember how I did the Lagaran worms. I think I might have done magic against those, but I went through and ground out the components for both those. I have not found any way of idling either the red claws or the skeletal dragons. They just do too much damage, and they build stacks up as you go. And I can't get around their damage that they have coming in, and negating all of the hit point regen that they do. Like, there's just so much in it. So I thought, you know what, it's probably not worth grinding these out. I don't think I was really able to find anything against these Rockins that I could grind those out either. That's why I've only worried about the Umboras and the Catulls. So unfortunately, I don't have a good crossbow, but I think the crossbow that I have is more than adequate. This ancient crossbow seems pretty good. It's doing a decent job. I have plenty of bolts. I started off with I do have diamonds and jade bolts in addition to these emerald ones. And I start off with the emerald ones because I thought, you know what, as I practice this fight, I'll just burn up those first, then I'll save the jade stone for the end if I need them. Should they be required, or should Bane pop up as ranged, I'll switch over to the jade stones. Let's see, I also ground out the water god dungeons for a while. Now, when I started this whole thing, and I can tell you I have only gone through phase 1 of this because I have the shield of melee power, so I do have one reward from this. This is a tough fight. This is a really tough fight. I mean, this is tough on normal mode, but now with all this goofy stuff going on where you got the wrong combat triangle and everything, it's even more difficult. And the first problem that I'm running into is these spiked red claws. In the normal mode, the greater skeletals are horrendous to fight. Those are the worst things I come across. But I can idle the Lagaran worms with magic, and I can idle the cursed liches with melee. But I can't idle either of these with ranged at all. They do too much damage. And these spiked red claws have a huge damage spot. I can't remember what it is that they do, but there's something that they do that's just massive. It's I have an auto eat of 41.6, and I think they do 45,000. And I just no way. I manually healing through it, I can get through it. So when I started this, I played through and I did the normal thing. I did the Unhallowed Wasteland, then you go to Dark Waters, and you go to Shrouded Badlands and Perilous Peaks, fight Bane, and you're done. So I did all that. I managed to get through the Unhallowed Wasteland the first time, and I got all the way up to Bane, and then I ended up running away from Bane because I ran out of magic. I had ran out of fire runes, so I had to whip up a bunch of fire runes. I am using the Incinerate spell. I personally, if I have 20,000 accuracy, I think that does a phenomenal job of hitting and staying constantly burning. And it also works, I think it works well with the Burning Madness gloves and the ring. So when I'm fighting Bane, I'll put the ring on so I get that bonus. And I did fight Bane twice as magic. I had to stop once, build up some runes, and then come back and fight him the second time. And the second time I beat him, I got the shield of melee power. Supposedly, every time you run from that fight, that Bane fight, it's supposed to have a chance to becoming one of the other combat styles. But I tried it twice. It was magic both times. And I thought, what the hell? I'll just try it out on magic. Now, I made a key mistake the first time through on this. and it took me a little bit of learning. I think I died the first time I tried this. The first time I tried the Impending Darkness, I think I died in the Unhallowed Wasteland. And then I've tried it again. And then I've tried it a couple of times, 2-3 times so far. The first mistake I made was I think I just ran Protect Item. I don't want to lose anything. I'd love to run something else besides Protect Item, but you're going to die. I mean, there's just, I feel like this is going to be a lot of RNG on whether you can get through this or not. Like, do you get more red claws, less red claws? You know what I mean? Like, if you get less of these things and more of the worms and the liches, I think you have a much easier time of getting through it. Do you run out of stuff? You know what I mean? Like all these weird problems. If you can get through, especially if you can get through these guys, the rest of this stuff's cake. It's not a big deal. It's this first batch that sucks. So the first mistake I made was running Battle Heart and Protect Item. I wasn't thinking with these two things here, you get a lot of red claws and a lot of skeletal dragons, and they're both melee. The thing I should have ran to begin with is Protect Melee and Protect Item. So I haven't been losing items, which is great because I don't want to have to regrind any of this crap, especially like the Fez Amulet or anything like that. I don't want to regrind all that, so I'm fine with running Protect Item. I think it sucks, but I'm fine with it. But instead of running Battle Heart, I started running Protect Melee. Now I would run Battle Heart Melee if I wasn't worried about dying, I would run those two. So, and then, you know, once you get out of the Unhallowed Wasteland, you don't really have a chance of dying so much. But I still leave Protect Item on because once I get to Bane, I don't want to lose it and die and lose anything there. So what I did is I ran Protect Melee through the entire Unhallowed Wasteland, got through that, no problem. Manually healing a lot of the way. And then on Dark Waters, I let it do Protect Ranged, even though this thing wasn't nearly as much of a problem as I thought it was going to be. Those rockins are pretty nasty, and if you get stunned and get hit hard, it hurts. So I went with Protect Ranged for Dark Waters, and then I basically turned Battle Heart back on for Badlands and Perilous Peaks. I did change my gear up a little bit. So in the Unhallowed Wasteland, you have to run the Slayer Skill Cape, the Hunter's Ring, and then 3 pieces of Slayer's gear on all of these. Otherwise, these things just heal. And they heal back quickly. Like every 2 turns, they're healing 25% or some ridiculous thing. Like you have to have all this on to negate all of that healing. Like if I take this off, it goes back to 20%. Like they just heal insanely fast. And it's just not fun. This fight is not fun to begin with. And it's even less fun now that you have to really micromanage some of this stuff with the combat styles and everything. It's just, I'm not a fan of this. I can't wait to be done with this fight. I kind of wish they would rework it in some way to where it wasn't like this, but I don't know how you do that unless you tone some of this stuff down to where you didn't have to have as much of this Slayer gear on, or make the Slayer gear a little better, maybe another level of Slayer gear. And maybe once we get 120 stuff out, there's going to be a lot better gear that lets you just mow through this. I don't know, but this sucks. So anyway, Protect Item and Protect whichever combat style, either melee or ranged. And then, like I said, once I got into Bane, I had to go into as magic. So I did Protect Magic, Protect Item, and I killed him for the first phase. So now I have a shield of melee power. So we're good there. It gives you a little bit better damage reduction. I think it's a little bit better. Yeah, 1% better than the other one. So I don't feel like I'm in a bad place right now. I kind of wished I had summoning. I kind of wished I had diamond luck potions. You know, there's a few things I wished I had, but this is not bad. This Impending Darkness event gets worse as you go because you build up more of these negative, like you have to take a negative every time you go through it. And I'm going to probably keep swinging at this and see how it goes. And then maybe if I get to the last Bane or whatever, I'll record that and show that. But I mean, you guys have seen this before. You've probably done this before. If you haven't, I have some other videos on what the Impending Darkness event is or how it's gone. If you want to watch all that, it's kind of boring to watch after a while. And yeah, I'm not going to worry about recording it except for like the last one. Like I said, I did get through the first phase of it. There's 5 phases, I believe. because you get 3 items, 4 items, and then, yeah, I think it's 5, something like that. But anyway, I have the shield out of the first phase, so I'll be working on getting the second phase, which gets you the range shield, I think. There really isn't anything else I can do. As you see, I've been stocking up on fish, and I have a ton of prayer points. I've just kind of been doing those in the background. I still do have 70-some thousand rune essence, so I do have plenty of those. But at this point, like, this is the gear that you have to use. There's no choice in the gear, and it's kind of frustrating in a lot of ways. I hate that this is the only gear that you can use. You know what I mean? What I might try is swapping out like ranged for melee or something like that, because you know the combat triangle is all goofy now. You will lose your attack bonuses, so I don't know how that's going to affect it, but you might gain some bonuses on defense if you're attacking the wrong thing with, you know, like melee against magic. I would equip ranged gear for this, maybe something down here. I don't know. It's just a thought I've been having. I don't know if it's going to help or not. It probably isn't worth the effort, but it's just a thought. So at any rate, that is where we are. I don't really know what to do at this point. I think what I might do is what I'm doing with my hardcore combat only account, and that is going into, say, the wizard tower and just killing wizards and stuff, and building up the runes and everything. I think I have loot container stacking, so I don't have to worry about that stuff. So I may just leave this go on that and collect up a bunch of runes until I'm ready for the next impending darkness thing, because I just don't have enough runes. I need a lot of elemental runes. I'm going to need some of the other stuff. I don't know. But anyway, that will do it for this video. I'll keep swinging along at this, and we'll make more attempts at it through the week. And that will do it for this one. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.